Close the doors of your mind from all carnal will, all carnal thought, all emotions, all desires, all fears, all laziness, all doubt. Anything in the center of your mind and your 12 cranial nerves within your consciousness of who you are in your sentient self, and your 12 million centers in your hands and your feet that govern your organs throughout your sentient body, from your axons and your dendrites, from your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your nose, everything that you can move, that you can hear, speak, and talk with, and smell, in your hands and your feet, and everything that you use in your mind to allow your body to move in a straight direction. And bring it to balance. Bring your heart and your mind to balance. And to the one who sits in the highest Shamayim, Yahushua Mashiach, Yahuwah Elohim, who sits in the highest Shamayim above the Shab'ay, Shamayim above the 7 heavens. Even as the 7 cities of refuge take hold and are added to the 12 tribes of Yasharah, the crown of Elohim, the very crown of the woman, the bride clothed with the sun, the one who sits above all, the one who gives authority and dominion to Adam on the earth, the one who gave it and it is now in effect, who gave it to his Adam and who passed it down through the lineages of those who held to the instructions, the Torah, throughout the generations. And even as he showed his laws to Yaakov and his rules to Yasharah, he has not dealt so with any other people. For the Torah comes from Saon, and the word of Yahuwah from Yerushalayim, from the city of Shalom, the city of peace, the place where Yahushua Mashiach will sit on the throne of David, Daud, when he returns to the earth, and he will govern the earth with his sword in his mouth, and with the oar and the light, and the tabernacle of Yahuwah will be with man, with human beings, both male and female, and all the gods will bow down to him. So as we move forward in this 364-day cycle, this 364-day cycle according to the calendar of Hanuk, the calendar that existed even before Shem, Ham, and Japheth ever existed, the time sequence that existed before man was even formed, and all the conquistadors and all the conquerors came on the earth and shifted this whole world to a consciousness that is not like Yahuwah himself, not like his image and likeness. So as we move forward, and as we peer outside and we see the changes inside of the trees, how they shift from the first day of the 7th month all the way, and we see how they're going to shift and change colors, we ourselves need to change in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, and to move in a direction that is pleasing inside of Yahuwah. So this Yom, as we move forward, as we acknowledge the one who made all of the mountains, the 7 mountains, and the 7 streams of the earth, we move forward in kindness, ahab, joy, peace, patience, meekness, temperance, amunah, self-control, but we will in no wise clear the guilty. For if you're guilty, he said there are laws that are in place that tell you are guilty. And if you have done things wrong, there are laws that tell you what you need to do when you do something wrong. For these are the condemnations of those who don't walk in love. Those who don't walk in love. So, as we move forward in this 364-day cycle, we focus our mind and our attention on the one that's above, and not on things on the earth. Right, so this is the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter 89, verse 1. Tahalim, Psalms chapter 89, verse 1. Psalms 89, verse 1. It says, I will sing of the steadfast love of Yahuwah forever. With my mouth, I will make known your faithfulness to all generations. So we look at our mouth as the very tool that we use. Use the mouth as sound of Turah. With our mouth, Ruah Turah. When with your mouth, you declare his faithfulness to the generations. For I said, steadfast love will be built up forever. Steadfast love, that means continual. Unceasing love will be built up. Right? Forever. In the Shamayims, you will establish your faithfulness. Where? In the Shamayims, you will establish your faithfulness. You have said, I have made a covenant with my chosen ones. I have sworn to David, my servant, I will establish your offspring forever and build your throne for all generations. He said, and build your throne for all generations. Right, so this is the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 1. Colossians chapter 3, verse 1. It says, if you then have been raised with Mashiach, seek those things which are above. And he's going to put steadfast love and faithfulness. He said he's going to put it in the Shab'ay. He said, seek those things which are above. Where Mashiach is, seated at the right hand of Yahuwah. He's seated at his right hand. And it says right here, set your minds on things above and not on things on the earth. For you have died, and your life is hidden. He said, your life is hidden he said, your life is hidden with Mashiach in Elohim. Why? Because he said, don't get mad at me because the sun is shining on me. He said, for I'm black, like the tents of Kedar. When you dwell inside of a tent that's dark, guess what you can't see? You're hidden. Nobody can see you. And it says, when Mashiach, who is your life, appears, then you also will appear with him in what? In kabod, in glory. Colossians chapter 3, verse 12. Put on then, go to verse 12, it says, put on then as Elohim's chosen ones. He said he's going to reveal it to his chosen ones. His chosen ones. Kudash and beloved and compassionate hearts. Beloved. He said, put on beloved. Put on love. He said, put on beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, patience, bearing one another. If anyone has a complaint against another, forgiving each other, as Yahuwah has forgiven you, as you must forgive. And above all these, put on love. Because he put it in the he put it in the Shab'ay. And he said he's going to build up the throne he's going to build it up with love. He said that's the only way you're going to build it. He's going to build it up with love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony, a perfect harmonic frequency to his chosen. Who is his chosen? And let the peace of Mashiach rule in your hearts, to which you were called. Right? He said, if you're called to this, he's commanding us to walk in love. Right? He said, walk in it. So this is the book of, this Song of Solomon, Shir HaShirim. Shir HaShirim. This is book of Shir HaShirim, chapter 2, verse 8. Shir HaShirim, chapter 2, verse 8. It says, the voice of my beloved, behold, he comes, leaping over the mountains, bounding over the hills. It sounds like, when you look at, when you see leaping over the mountains and bounding over the hills? Rams, sheep, and goats. And guess what he says? My beloved is like a gazelle of a young stag, like a young leroy. Behold, there he stands behind our wall, gazing through the windows, looking through the lattice, right? Just like you see animals looking inside. But he said, what? He said, put on beloved and compassionate heart. So that word for Shir HaShirim, chapter 2, or you say Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 8, that word for beloved, Song of Solomon, of course some people know it, but I'm going to say it anyway. But it says right here, too, the word for beloved is Dawood. Dawood. He said, what did Colossians tell you? To put on beloved and compassionate hearts. He said, to love. That's what his name means. To love. By implication, it means a friend. A love. Uncle, a beloved, a father's brother, or uncle. He said, put on beloved and compassionate hearts. It means to love. So who's the beloved? You are. He said, who is that? You. That's who you are. He said, so we supposed to be Dawood? We supposed to be beloved? He's like, yeah. Go back to Psalms 89. Psalms 89 and 1. Psalms 89 and 1. 89 and 3. You have said, go to verse 3. You have said, I have made a covenant with my chosen ones. He said, as you who was chosen was put on beloved. He said, Dawood, he said, a compassionate heart. I have sworn to Dawood, my servant. I will establish your offspring forever and build your throne to all generations, said Allah. Let the heavens praise your wonders, O Yahuwah, your steadfast love in the assembly or Aydah of the Qahalath ones. For who in the skies can comprehend, who in the skies can be compared to Yahuwah? Now you see why he put him in the highest in the Shab'ay. Why? Because there are other things in the sky. He said, who are you going to compare him to? You finna compare him to these other guys in the Shab'ay? Who among the heavenly beings is like Yahuwah? Who among all these Malakim, all these gods, all these beings, all these abrasics, all the Her star, the Betelgeuse star, right? Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, the Pegasus galaxy, the Peg star, the Jaru, all these beings out here, the reptilians, Orion group, Orion, Oranos, right? Marduk. Who you gonna compare him to? ISIS? You gonna compare him to him? He's a lower level molecule. Michael, Garba, Uriel, Raphael. You gonna compare him to them? And there are many other gods. But he says, oh, Elohim greatly to be. He says, who among the heavenly beings is like Yahuwah? A Elohim greatly to be feared in the council of the Qahalath ones, and awesome above all. Who around him? O Yahuwah, Elohim of hosts, Yahuwah Sabaoth, who is mighty as you are, O Yahuwah, with your faithfulness all around you. You rule the ragings of the sea. How many gods can do that? He said, I rule it, which means I rule the person who actually does it. I rule the Malaki, the God who actually can control it. He said, you rule over the sea. When its waves rise, you still them. Why do you think Yahushua on the ship in Mark 4? He said, what manner of man is this, that the winds and the waves obey him? The winds and the waves do what he says. Who you think he is? Who you gonna compare him to? You finna compare him to these other guys, these other Mashiach, other saviors, other anointed ones, other people on the earth? He said, no, you cannot. And it says, when its waves rise, you still them. You crush Rahab like a carcass. You scatter your enemies like with your mighty arm. The heavens are yours, the earth also is yours. The world and all that is in it, you have founded them. The north and the south, you have created them. Tapohor and Hermon, joyously praise your name. You all have a mighty arm, strong in your hand. High your right hand. He said, high. He said, why? He said, high your right hand. Because we just read in Colossians chapter 4. What did he just say? Colossians chapter 3. He says, if you then be risen with Yahushua Mashiach, seek those things which are above, where Yahushua Mashiach is seated at the right hand of Yahuwah. Because he higher than everybody else. He's sitting right there. And guess what he says? Righteousness and justice are the foundations of your throne. Steadfast love and faithfulness before you. That's what's going to stand before him. Why he say steadfast love is going to be before him? That's what's going to be before he comes. It's going to be in front. Like, who going to steadfast love and faithfulness? Right, so this is the book of Proverbs chapter 3. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 1. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 1 says, my son and daughter, do not forget my teaching, but let your heart keep my commandments. Why? Because that's what's going to be before you. For length of days and years and life and shalom will be added to you. You're going to live a long life. You're going to live a long time. And forever and ever and ever afterwards. Let not steadfast love and faithfulness forsake you. Because that's what's going to be before him. He said, don't let it. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablets of your heart. Kathah. Inscribe it. So will you find favor and good success. Because you meditate on the bar, human night. Human night, day and night. Even as it was in the beginning. Even as it was when it came out of Mizraim. Even as it was when it comes to your life. To keep your lamp burning. And get what it says. It says, good success in the sight of Elohim and man. In the sight of Yahuwah and man. What do you mean in the sight of Elohim and man? Trust in Yahuwah with all your heart. And do not lean to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him. And he will make straight your paths. Be not wise in your own eyes. Because that's what we do. He said, be not wise in your own eyes. Fear Yahuwah and turn away from Ra. Turn away from the things that the very behaviors that Yahuwah destroyed the world with before the flood. And guess what happens? It will be healing to your flesh and refreshment to your bones. It'll be healing to your shore, your umbilical cord, to your childlike amunah, so you can enter the kingdom of Yahuwah. Because you can't enter in and you ain't gonna be before his face. And matter of fact, you're not even gonna build it up in love if you ain't walking in faithfulness and love. And it says, and guess what it says right here? This is skipping over, going to book of. This is the book of. This is the book of Yeshayahu, chapter 44. Yeshayahu, chapter 44, verse 1. Isaiah 44, verse 1. It says, but now hear, O Yaakov. You know, Yaakov is the 12 tribes, my servant. My servant. As Yahuwah's chosen ones, beloved and compassionate hearts. It says, but now, O Yaakov, my servant, Yasharal, whom I have chosen. He's going to reveal it to his chosen ones. Whom I have chosen. He said, those are the people I chose. Yasharal, the 12 tribes of Yasharal. Many are called, but few are chosen to be a part of Yasharal. To do what? Thus says Yahuwah, who made you. He did make you. Who formed all things, the Shamayim and the earth. Who formed you from the womb and will help you. He formed you from the womb. That's why Yahuwah should say, humble yourself like a child. If you can't do this, there ain't no way in the world. You're not going to get in. You're not going to walk in my ways. You're not going to walk in my paths if you don't humble yourself like a child. Because a grown person ain't going to follow no grown other person. He said you're going to have to humble yourself like a child and follow your father and mother. Just like a duck leads its children across the road to the other side. Just like a bear leads his cub across the river to the other side. You're going to have to humble yourself like a child. That's the only way. Just like a Araya leads her young lions, her young cubs, across the desert. And guess what it says? Who formed you from the womb and will help you. Fear not, O Yaakov, my servant. Yasharal, whom I have chosen. For I will pour water on the thirsty land, the parched place, Zion, and streams on the dry ground. I will pour my ruach upon your offspring, and my blessings on your descendants. He said I'm going to declare your faithfulness and love to the generations. And guess what he says? And my barak on your descendants, on everybody that descend out from you. Why? Because I'm going to tell them about it. Why do you think he barak the animals on the 5th day of creation? He said, I'm going to barak you, be fruitful and multiply. He said, Yahuwah barak. And then Yahuwah barak Adam and Yahuwah. And Yahuwah barak him, saying, of every tree, you can eat, you get all the trees building seed, they're going to be for food for you and the animals. And get what it says, and I will pour my ruach upon your offspring. He was saying, why? Because I chose you. But you got to walk in steadfast love and faithfulness. You got to put on compassionate hearts. You got to forgive. You have to walk in beloved. You got to be beloved. You got to be beloved. It says, and I will pour my ruach on your offspring and my barak to on your descendants, and they shall spring up among the grass. just like the plants that grow, that we plant. Just like our farming that we do. Like willows by flowing streams. That's why you see things springing up in the earth today. You see all these people, these other guys springing up and declare themselves to be Elohim. And they say, who are you going to compare him to? You going to compare me to a human? You going to compare me to one of these humans? No matter what skin color they is, they want to rise him and say they're greater than me. You want to compare me to them? You want to compare me to them? You want to spend all your time with them? And it says right here, they shall spring up like grass and like the willows of the streams. This one will say, I am Yahuwah's. Another will call on the name of Yaakov. Because he ain't never dealt so with any other people. Yasharal and Yehuda, to the 12 tribes, the sons of Yaakov, he ain't never dealt so. He showed his rules. He showed his Torah to Yaakov, his rules to Yasharal. He never done this. He never did this with no other people. Because they passed it down through the lineages through Noah and Shem to Abraham. And by doing so, it dwindled all the way down to Yaakov, to the 12 sons. It's the same teachings. It's the same teachings. And it says right here, then they will spring up like grass. Skipping down. Verse 5, this one will say, I am Yahuwah. Another will say, be called by the name of Yaakov, Yasharal. And another will write on his hand, Another will write on his hand, what he going to write on his hand? The Lord. It says Yahuwah. And name himself by the name of Yasharal. He going to write on his hand Yahuwah. And he going to name himself by the name of Yasharal. He said, what? He chose them? Yeah, he chose them. He said, he said, you're going to write on his hand. He said, I'm going to exalt my right hand. I'm going to exalt my right hand. Thus, and it says, verse 6 says, thus says Yahuwah, the king of Yasharal. The king of Yasharal. So why everybody saying something different today? So who are these other people talking about this king and this Malach of righteousness? Who are these other people? Where did this God come from? Where does Elohim come from? These other names, where does stuff come from? It says, thus says Yahuwah, the king of Malach of Yasharal, the king of Yasharal, and his redeemer. Yahuwah of hosts, Yahuwah Sabaoth, I am the first and the last, I am the first and the last. Besides me, there is no God. So who are these guys? Who are these guys talking? Why are we comparing ourselves to these other gods? Why are we mixing what we say with these other gods? He said, who are these other gods? Who is this God? Why y'all hold to this God so much? And he says, who is like me? Yahuwah like, hold up. What other Elohim like me who can make every single sedimentary sin, every single wave cap? Who can form the very fabric of the cosmos? Who made every star and control every single star and move Orion out of its place? Who allowed the kingdom to Quetzal and to move the bear star with his cubs? Who can do that? Who holds the 7 stars in his right hand? Who holds the 7 kukah? Who holds the 7 mountains in his right hand? The 7 celestial circles. Why are you comparing me to other people? He said, who is like me? Let him proclaim it. So all the Elohims, the gods who think they're greater than Yahuwah said, I want you to say that you are. I want you to do that. Please do it. Let him declare and set it before me. Yahuwah like, do it. Since you saying that you're greater, set your accounts everything that you've done and write it down and put it before me and let me see it. Let me see it all. Since I appointed an ancient people, let them declare what is to come and what will happen. Fear not, nor be afraid. Have I not told you from old and declared it? Yahuwah, I already did that already. So everything they say, it ain't gonna work, right? So this is Revelations. This is Revelations, Kazum. Revelations chapter 1. Revelations, Hazum. Revelation chapter 1. Revelation chapter 1 and 1. It says, the revealing, the Hazon of Yahushua Mashiach, which Elohim gave to show to his servants. Who is his servants? Yahshua, his servants. To what? The things that must soon take place. He just said, I already told, everything they said they're going to happen. I already said it already. I already pronounced this on these people. And get what he says. He made it known by sending his Malachi by his servant Yahuwah, who bore witness to the word and to the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach, even to all that he saw. Barak is the one who reads aloud the words of this prophecy. And Barak are those who hear and who keep what is written in it, for the time is near. So this, skipping over, it says right here, skipping over to verse 7. He said, behold, he is coming with clouds. He coming with clouds. Dark clouds, like rainstorms, like the Turah, the tempest, the hurricane, the whirlwind. They ain't even got a measuring stick for it. They're going to try to measure it out. F5, no. Category 5. You ain't gonna be able to do it. You're gonna be trying to measure it out like Vegeta on Dragon Ball Z with his little thing, trying to measure out how much energy he got. You ain't even gonna be able to calculate it. It's just gonna break off. It says, behold, he comes with clouds, and every eye will see him. So that means everybody. You get what he says? Even those who pierced him. He said, even those who pierced him. Those who pierced him. So who was the people that pierced him? The tribes, the 12 tribes, y'all pierced him in the side. He remembered that. He remembered what y'all said in that little meeting y'all had. The elders and the chief priests and the scribes and the mayors and the governors and all y'all got together. He remembered what y'all said. He said, let us break his bones. He remembered what y'all said. And then y'all pierced him in the side and out came blood and water. He remembered what y'all did. He said, even those who pierced it, even the descendants that came out from the people who did it. And he says, and those who pierced him, and all the tribes of the earth will well. He means tribes. The tribes, the 12 tribes. He remembered what y'all did. And all the other tribes of the earth, the Matah. Because this is a tribal world. It's always been tribes. There's always been a tribal world. Why do you think you have Narash and eagles and birds and ravens and Quetzal birds? People, you got Quetzal birds. Why do you think people, it was always been a tribal world. A spiritual world. It's always been that way. And guess what happened? Yahuwah, like, I remember everything y'all did. I watched you. And I've been watching you for the past 6,000 years. And it says, and all the tribes of the earth will wail on account of him. Even so, amen. Amen. I am the Alpha, Aleph, and the two. I am the Aleph and the two. Says Yahuwah of hosts, who is and who was and who is to come, the Almighty. He said, I'm the first and the last. He said, I already said this already. You know I said this, Yeshayahu said this a long time ago, I'm just repeating it to them again. I'm the first letter of the Aleph, and I'm the last letter of the Aleph. I'm the Aleph, and I'm the Tav. I'm 1 and 400. And you know what he says? I, Yahuwah, your brother and partner in tribulation and in Malkuth. and the patient endurance that are in Yahushua was on the Island of Patmos on the account of the words of Elohim and the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach, right? So this is the book, this is First Enoch Pseudepigrapha. First Enoch Pseudepigrapha. First Enoch Pseudepigrapha, chapter 91, verse 1. First Enoch Pseudepigrapha, chapter 91, verse 1. It says, "And now, my son Methuselah, please summon all your brothers on my behalf, and gather together to me all the sons of your mother. For a voice calls me." He said, a voice, a call. Just like Abraham obeyed Yahuwah's voice, his call, his thunder. Just like Yahushua obeyed his voice. He said, "A voice is calling me, and the Ruach is poured over me, so that I may show you everything that shall appear to you forever." Then Methuselah went and summoned his brothers, and having summoned them to him, gathered his family. What they gathered their family? What's the word for congregation when he said gather all the people on this first day of the 7th month? For a congregation, Aydah, it means what? Family. He gathered his family. He gathered his family. And what he did? Then Hanuk spoke to all of them, children of righteousness. It'll be our righteousness if we keep his commandments. Children of righteousness. And he said, children of righteousness, and said, "Hear, all you children of Hanuk, the talk of your father, and listen to my voice in uprightness. For I exhort you, I warn you, my beloved." My beloved. He said, as all he chosen to put on beloved and compassionate hearts. My Dawood. And amazingly, who is talking? Father. That's what beloved means. Father. It also means uncle. What do you think Methuselah was? He was their uncle to the children. He was their uncle. And Enoch was their father, and Methuselah was their uncle. And they all were together as a family, and he telling them, children, listen to me. And get what he says. And he said, spoken, children of righteousness, and said, "Hear all you children of Hanuk, the talk of your father, and listen to my voice in uprightness. For I exhort you, my beloved, and say to you, love uprightness, and it alone." He said love uprightness, and that's it. And it alone. Do not draw near uprightness with an ambivalent attitude. It means a evil attitude. And neither associate with hypocrites. He said, don't even associate with hypocrites. He said, I would have you go. Okay, let me read that. Right. So this is the book of, I think it's 1 Corinthians. Yeah. Right, this is the book of 1 Corinthians, I think it is. Yeah, 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 3. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 6. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 6. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 6. It says, "Your boasting is not good. Do you not know that a little leaven leavens the whole lump? Cleanse out the old leaven that you may be a new lump." You got to go through your life over and over and over again. You got to keep doing it. Sometimes things don't come out. You got to scrub it. You got to wipe it down, right? And then you got to do it all over again. Be like, oh man, I got to wash this again. And it still ain't come out. Right? And it says, as you really are unleavened. For Mashiach, our Pesach lamb, has been sacrificed. Skipping over to verse 9. I wrote to you in my letter not to associate with the sexual immoral people. Not at all meaning the sexual immoral of the world, or the greedy, or the swindlers or idolaters, since you would need to have to go out of the world. You gotta like deal with these people on a day-to-day basis. He says, but now I am writing to you not to associate with anyone who bears the name of a brother, a sister, a mother, a father. Right? Who is it? if he is guilty of sexual immorality or greed, excessive, or it says, or is an idolater, worship other gods, a reviler, a drunkard, or a swindler, not even to eat with such a one. He said, he just read it. He told him, I'm not associated with hypocrites. Because you saying that you walk in righteousness and uprightness, but you a swindler. You force people to give you money. You greed. You use people for your own personal gain to gain wealth. He told, don't even associate with them. Don't even eat with them. You an idolater. You still worship idols. You still make it merry on the winter solstice. You still celebrate genocide and killing all the Native Americans and all the people, all the indigenous people. You still celebrate it. He said, you're a hypocrite. You say you follow righteousness. You say you follow what's right. But you see right here, when Hanuk gathered his family together, it wasn't for those reasons. It wasn't. Let's see what happened. And it says neither, going back to 1 Enoch, chapter 1, verse 4. 1 Enoch, chapter 1, verse 4. 1 Enoch, chapter 91, pseudepigrapha, chapter 91, verse 4. It says, and listen to my voice in uprightness, and I exhort you, my beloved, and say to you, love uprightness and it alone. Do not draw near uprightness with an ambivalent attitude, and neither associate with hypocrites, but walk in righteousness, my children, and it shall lead you in the good path. He said it'll lead you in a good path. It'll be our righteousness to keep his commandments. His commandments aren't grievous. Our righteousness is righteous forever, and his Torah is the truth. So what do you think righteousness is to them? You think it's any different than what he gave to Yasharal? It's the same righteousness. It's the same righteousness. Yes, Hanuk, Methuselah, Adam, the 12 tribes are descendants that kept hold to the Torah and righteousness from Adam. That was passed down to Methuselah to Hanuk. The 12 tribes of Yasharal are the descendants. These are our ancestors. Right, and it says right here, it says, my children, it shall lead you in the good paths, and righteousness shall be your friend. Yahushua said, you my friend if you do whatsoever I command you. He said, righteousness will be your friend. He said, that's my best friend. He said, yeah, this is my best friend. And get what it says. For I know that the state of violence will intensify on the earth. He means Kamas, just like it was in the beginning. That's the same reason he's destroyed the earth. It's going to intensify. It's intensifying now. It says, a great plague shall be executed upon the earth. All forms of oppressions will be carried out, and everything shall be uprooted, and every arrow shall fly fast. Oppression will recur once more, and be carried out upon the earth. Every form of oppression, injustice, and iniquity shall infect the world twofold. Twofold. It's going to infect the world twofold. Why do you think Yahushua had to cry out twice? On totality. My Father, why hast thou forsaken me? And Yahushua, he cried out again in Matthew 27, and he gave it the Ruach. Why do you think he had two Teruahs? Teruah. Mashak. Why do you think you had that? Because it has infected the world twofold. And it says right here, when sin, oppression, blasphemy, and injustice increase, crime, iniquity, and uncleanness shall be committed and increase. Likewise, then a great plague shall take place from Shab'ay upon all these. What do you think is coming? People say, what do you mean? They did all that. Yeah, they did all that just to get you ready for it. Because they already know y'all ain't going to change. And they already know what's coming. And they know. And they just getting ready for it. They just got to have all their things in place. The emergency broadcasting system. They had to have all the things on the blockchain and everything in the disaster way. They have to have everything. They have to have everything in place. So why? So you can, how you say, when they come upon you, you ain't gonna know why, but they know why. Because you blind. But we know. He said you gotta hide yourself with him. In my tent. He said a man gonna be a hiding place in the wind. But it said right here. It says twofold. And it says right here, then a great plague shall take place from Shab'ay upon all these. The chdsh master shall emerge with wrath and plague in order that he may execute judgment upon the earth. In those days injustice shall be cut off from its sources, fountains, and from its roots. Likewise oppression together with deceit. They shall be destroyed from underneath Shab'ay. What do you mean underneath? Because he exalted it above. He put it in the Shab'ay. He said, who in the Shab'ay above is compared to me? It says, all the which is common with the heathen shall be surrendered. The towers shall be inflamed with fire and be removed from the whole earth. Say what? He said the towers are going to be inflamed with fire and removed from this place. And get what it says. They shall be thrown into judgment of fire and perish in wrath and in the force of the element of judgment. Then the righteous one shall arise from his sleep, and the wise one shall arise, and he shall be given unto them the people, and through him the roots of oppression shall be cut off. Sinners shall be destroyed by the sword. They shall be cut off, together with the blasphemers in every place. And those who design oppression and commit blasphemy shall perish, it says, by the knife. He said, all that's going to happen. It's the same righteousness that he had, that he was telling his family when they gathered to me. This is what's getting ready to happen. This is how the scenario is going to play out. And what do they need to do? He said, hold fast to uprightness and to righteousness, and make it your friend and your companion, and hold to it. And do not associate with hypocrites. Why? Because you will become one. Right? So going to chapter 94. First Enoch chapter 94, verse 1. First Enoch 94, pseudepigrapha. First Enoch 94, pseudepigrapha. It says, and now, my children, I say to you, love righteousness and walk therein. It's the same righteousness that was given to Yahshua, his rules. He has not dealt so with any other nation. Same one. It says, for the way of righteousness are worthy of being embraced. He said, it's worthy to hug that, to embrace that, and those who practice it. But the ways of wickedness shall soon perish and diminish. To certain known persons, the way of injustice and death shall be revealed as soon as they are born. And they shall keep themselves at a distance from those ways and would not follow them. Now to you, those righteous ones, I say, do not walk in the evil way or in the way of death. Do not draw near to them lest you be destroyed. But seek for yourselves and choose righteousness and the elect life. He said, the elect life. Right? So this is the book of This is the book of this is 2 Peter. 2 Peter chapter 1. 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 1. 2 Peter chapter 1 chapter 2 verse 1. 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 1. It says, Simeon Qahalath, 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 1. It says, Simeon Qahalath, a servant and Shalakim of Yahushua Mashiach, to those who have obtained a Amunah of equal standing with ours by the righteousness of Elohim and Savior Yahushua Mashiach. It's the same righteousness from the beginning. Same thing. May Khan and peace be multiplied to you in the knowledge of Elohim and Yahushua Mashiach, our Master, His divine power, verse 3, has granted to us all things pertaining to this life and good godliness through the knowledge of him who called us to his own glory and excellence. What did he say? By which he has granted to us his precious and very great promises, so that through them you may become the partakers of divine nature. Right? So he said, through them. So this is the book of so this is the book of First Peter, verse 1. 1 Peter chapter 1. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 1. It says, "And Qahalath, an apostle of Yahushua Mashiach, to those who are elect, exiles of the dispersion in Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, Bithynia, according to the foreknowledge of Elohim, the Father, in the sanctification of the Ruach, for obedience to Yahushua Mashiach, for the sprinkling of the blood, may con and peace be multiplied to you." He said, choose the life of the elect one. To the elect, those who put on divine nature, the supernatural people. It says, Barak be Elohim of the Father of Master Yahushua Mashiach, according to his great mercy. He has caused us to be born again to the living hope through the resurrection of Yahushua Mashiach from the dead, and to the inheritance of imperishable, undefiled, and unfading, kept in the Shab'ay for you, who by Yahuwah's power are being guarded through Amunah for a salvation ready to be revealed in the last time. Say what? The same election. The same elect ones. Right? This is the book of Second Yochanan. It says Second John, or Ba'ith, or Shani Yochanan, chapter 1, verse 10. 1 verse 10. If anyone comes to you and does not bring this teaching, do not receive him in your house or give him any greeting. He said, don't. Because you know why if you do? You be like Kuah in the garden. You become partakers in their evil deeds. Because you know what Kuah was supposed to do? Shut up, Satan. But it says right here, for whoever greets him takes part in his wicked works. Huh? And get what it says. Though I have much to write to you, I would rather not use paper and ink. Instead, I hope to come to you to talk face to face, so that our joy may be complete. The children of your elect sister greet you. Huh? Elect. He said, why are he doing all the election? Because it's a part of your walk. Going back to 1 Enoch chapter 94. 1 Enoch chapter 94, Supergrapha. Verse 4, it says, but seek for yourselves and choose righteousness and the elect life. Walk in the way of peace, so that you shall have life and be worthy. Hold fast my words in the thoughts of your hearts. And get what it says. And let them not be erased from your hearts. Why do you think Satan always got to erase it? They got movies called The Eraser. He said, I'm going to erase it from your heart. Why? For I do know that sinners will counsel the people to perform evil craft. Why do you think he told them, don't even, when they come to your house and bring that, he said, don't even receive them in your house. If you do, what's going to happen? You be partaker in their evil deeds. He said, don't even receive it in your body, in your mind, in your consciousness, in your thoughts, in your natural house, in your family. You're going to be partaker. He's like, you're going to partake of it, which means you're going to eat from it. Because as soon as you start conversing, you're going to start eating. You're going to have a residue of the conversation, and you're going to start eating it. And get what it says. It says, for I do know that sinners will counsel the people to perform evil craft, and every place will welcome it. If he was saying why he said that, why do you think we read that? He said, don't even partake. He said they're going to welcome it. And what they say, and every advice of the sinners may not be diminished. He said they're going to just keep doing it. He said, you welcome that, don't you? I know you do. And get what he says. Verse 6 says, woe unto those who build oppression and injustice, who lay foundations for deceit. They shall soon be demolished. He said, I'm going to destroy it. And get what he says. And they shall have no peace. He said, why they ain't going to have no peace? Right, so this is the book of Isaiah 57. Isaiah 57, really quick. Isaiah 57 and 19. 57:18. He said, I have seen his ways, but I will heal him. So Yahuwah see everything. He said, I see you. He said, I heal you. I will lead him and restore comfort to his mourners, creating the fruit of the lips. Shalom, shalom, peace, peace to the far, and to those who are near, says Yahuwah, and I will hear him. But the wicked are like the tossing sea, for it cannot be quiet. They're going to keep trying to bring that teaching, whatever they're trying to do to get you to do evil craft. That's all they're going to keep doing. He said they can't be quiet. They can't be quiet. It says what? And its waters toss up mere and dirt. They can't be quiet. Even though it's dirty, it's just mere and dirt. He's like, please be quiet. But guess what he said? There is no peace, says my Elohim, for the wicked. Why do you think he said I'm going to destroy it? They ain't going to have no peace. He said there's no peace to them. He said they keep talking, right? So this is the book of... This is the book of... It's the same thing. People think it's different. It's not. This is the book of... This is the book of... Sorry. It's Titus. It's Titus 1 and 10. Titus 1 and 10. Titus 1 and 10. For there are many who are insubordinate, empty talkers, and deceivers. He said, what do you talk about the deceivable seed? Those who keep the commandments. Those who don't keep the commandments is the deceivable seed. The empty talkers. Where does Satan dwell at? In empty heads. Right? It says, especially those of the circumcision part. He said, especially them Yahudim who got circumcised in the flesh. They think they know something. They don't even know not. They don't even know a lot. He said, you empty talkers. You get what he says? They must be silent, since they are upsetting whole families. Why do you think Hanuk was one in his family? He said they're upsetting whole families by teaching for shameful gain. We just talked about he said, for all the things, they can fall in greed. He said those are hypocrites. What they ought not to teach. It says one of the Cretans, the Nabi of their own, said Cretans are always liars, evil beasts. What's some evil beasts in the world? Lazy gluttons. This testimony is true. Therefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the Amunah. It is not devoting themselves to myths and the commands of people who turn away from the truth. To the pure, all things are pure, but to the defiled and unbelieving, nothing is pure. But both their minds and their consciences are defiled. They profess to know Elohim, but they deny him by their works, which means they don't do what? They do not keep righteousness, and they do not keep the commandments. They do not walk in Yahushua's ways, and they do not walk in as the beloved. As the Song of Solomon said. What make your beloved more different from the other beloved? He said, you can spot my beloved out of 10,000, because you're the light of the world. But it said right here, but they deny him by their works. They are detestable, disobedient. They are detestable, disobedient, unfit for any good work. All right, going back to 1 Enoch 94. And 7. 1 Enoch 94 and 7 says, woe to those who build their houses with sin. Now you see why she said, man, they upsetting whole households. They'll upset whole families. You gonna build your house with that? And it says, for they shall be demolished from their foundations, and they shall fall by the sword. Those who amass gold and silver, they shall quickly be destroyed. They say they teach for greed, teaching things they shouldn't even be teaching. And get what they say? They shall quickly be destroyed. Yahuwah's like, I gotta get rid of you. I gotta tear down your buildings and turn it into fire. He said, I gotta destroy your stuff. And it says, they shall quickly be destroyed. Woe to you, O rich people. He said, how you got your money? How you got rich? For you have put your trust in your wealth. You shall ooze out of your riches. What do you think happened today? He said, you're going to ooze out. You know why you're going to ooze out? This is the reason why. For you do not remember the Most High, Yahuwah, in the days of your affluence, you committed oppression. You know what a rich do? And it says, you have become ready for death. So Yahuwah like, he said, you ready. You know how he said the harvest is ready? Yahuwah like, but there's some other people ready too. He said, are you ready? Because there's some people ready. Are you ready? And some people ain't ready. He said, but Yahuwah say, you ready now. You know how Yahuwah start to harvest people in? He's like, you ready now. And you be like, why are you harvesting that person in? That person rich. That person got a lot of money. That other person got, he said, man, Yahuwah like, you ready. It's time to harvest you in. For what? It says, you have become ready for death and for the day of darkness and the day of great judgment. Which means your time is now. He's like, say what? He said, yeah, who got harvest too? I got harvest time for good fruit, and I got harvest time for people who ready for death. And he said, woe to you rich people. How you got it? You got it through oppression. You got it through evil works, and evil and rotten. And guess what he would say? You ready. Right, this is James chapter 1. Actually, James, Yaakov, James, Yaakov, it's James, Yaakov, chapter 5, verse 1. James, chapter 1, James, Yaakov, chapter 5, verse 1. Yaakov, chapter 5, verse 1, it says, James, chapter 5, verse 1, it says, come now, you rich, weep. Huh? Oh, you rich people, I guess it's time for you. He said, you ready now. He said, you was like, you ready. Come now, you rich, weep and howl for you, your miseries that are coming upon you. He's like, you are ready. The riches have rotted. He said, your riches have rotted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and your silver has corroded, and your corrosion will be evidence against you, and you will eat your flesh like fire. He was like, you ready. It's time to harvest you in. You laid up treasures in the last days. Didn't we just read that? He said in the last days, he said, this is going to happen. Enoch already talked about this. Hanuk already talked about this. You know what he said? He said, you eat your treasure for the last day. Behold, the wages of the laborers who mow your fields. You ever have hired workers? And you don't pay them their wages before the sun goes down. They depending on that. They cleaning your yard. They doing all this stuff. And you oppressing these people. And you taking away their wages. You oppressing their unions. You oppressing all these people. You got all this money. He said, behold, the wages of the laborers who mow your fields, which you kept back by fraud. Huh? You kept back by fraud. You practicing fraud. You lying on bank applications. You lying to get loans, and then you oppress people with the loans. You lying and you doing all this stuff. You got these people moving and doing all this stuff for you, and you ain't paying them nothing. You firing people and not even giving them warning, and then you ain't paying them. He said, they said that you kept back by fraud are crying out against you. They are doing what? He said they crying out against you. What do you think these people doing today? These people crying out against you. All you rich people. All you rich people in the world, all you people with all this money, he's saying, the people are crying out against you. And there's a reason why. And the cries of the harvester have reached to the ears of Yahuwah of hosts. He said, it's reached. He said, its reach to Yahuwah of hosts, right? So this is the book of Leviticus. This is the book of Leviticus. I think it is. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter, I think it's 19. Let's go to so let's go to book of Leviticus. Let's go to the book of Leviticus. Book of Leviticus chapter 19. Book of Leviticus chapter 19, verse 1. Why is this thing going? Yeah, 19 verse 1. Let's go here. And it says right here. Actually, go to verse 19 and 9. Leviticus 19 and 9. It says, when you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not reap your field. He said, when you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not reap your field right up to its edges. Neither shall you gather the gleaning of your harvest. And you shall not strip your vineyard bare. Neither shall you gather the fallen grapes of your vineyard. You shall leave them for the poor. And for the sojourner, I am Yahuwah Elohim. He said, if people reap your fields, he said, they cry when we can Shab'ay. Matter of fact, those who mow your lawn, he said, man, you help out their wages. Let's see. You shall not steal. You shall not deal falsely. You shall not lie one to another. You shall not swear by my name falsely. So profane the name of your Elohim, I am Yahuwah. You shall not oppress your neighbor and rob him the wages of the hired worker. He's talking about these are the same things, these are the same laws, they were talking about during Hanuk. The hired worker shall not remain with you all night until the morning. You should need these people. He's saying you kept it longer than that. Yahuwah's like, you're ready now. You're all ready. And get what he says. All night. You shall not curse the deaf or put a stumbling block before the blind. He said the lame man. But you shall fear Yahuwah. You shall fear Elohim. I am Yahuwah. You shall not do no injustice in court. That means false accusations and false criminal accusations. Why do you think they brought up 2 false witnesses against Yahushua? Mashiach. He said, at last, finally 2 false witnesses came because they couldn't find no witnesses. Then they had to conjure up 2 of them. He said, you should not do any injustice in court, and you should not be partial to the poor or defer the great. But in righteousness shall you judge your neighbor. Why do you think they were judging? Why are you saying love your neighbor, you love yourself? Why do you think Shaul was reiterating to them? Why do you think Peter was reiterating to them how to walk in righteousness? Why do you think Shaul said not at all the people of the world, but your brother, who called himself the brother sister? He said, don't have no eat with them. And it says, you shall not go around as a slanderer among your people. You shall not stand up against the life of your neighbor. I am Yahuwah. You shall not hate your brother in your heart. Why? Because you got to walk as beloved and compassionate hearts. You got to be beloved. You can't hate your brother or sister, or your mother and father. He says, but you shall reason frankly with your neighbor. If anyone has a complaint against someone, forgiving each other as Yahuwah is forgiving you. And walk in love, even as Hanuk said. A long, long, long time ago. You know the man that Yahuwah took? Or you mean the same way Yahushua was taken? Lest you incur sin because of him. That's why. Yahuwah going to charge you. You shall not take the vengeance and bear a grudge against your sons of your people, but you shall love your neighbor as you love yourself. Right? And you shall keep my statutes. But you just read, man, you done kept back all the wages. And the book of Hanuk, chapter 94, say, you have become ready for them. He said, you ready? This is James chapter 5. Going back to James chapter 5, verse 5. We almost finished this. James chapter 5, verse 4. James chapter 5, verse 4, it says, behold, James chapter 5, verse 4, behold, the wages of the laborers who mow your fields, who you kept back by fraud, are crying out against you. And the cries of the harvester have reached to the ears of Yahuwah. You have lived on the earth in luxury and in self-indulgence. You have fatted your hearts in the day of slaughter. What do you mean day of slaughter? You just fatted your hearts in the day of slaughter. Like when you kill a bunch of animals and you eat, you get fat. You stuff your face. And even those people who you stuff your face after they kill all the indigenous people of the world and misnamed animals, misnamed land masses, change the names from the indigenous people to other lands, and then you gonna eat a nice dinner after you done did all that. You gonna feed your stomach. And he says, you have condemned and murdered the righteous person. You just killed innocent people. The righteous person, people celebrate these things. They don't even know the people who they killed. You got them all by name. You know if they were righteous or not. Do you know if they kept the commandments? You don't even know. Do you know what type of people they were? No, you don't know. You know they had a breed riding in Ohio. They found. Do you know they were righteous people? No, you don't know. The only thing you know is that they had gobble, 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 but you don't know what actually happened though. But Yahuwah said, you have murdered the righteous person, and he does not resist you. And you know what they do? They don't even say nothing. They're just quiet. They don't even say nothing. Verse 7 says, be patient therefore, brothers and sisters, until the coming of the Master Yahushua. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth. What do you think he's waiting for? Love. Be patient about it until it receives the early and late rains. What do you mean early and late rains? Where is the early and late rains at? You also be patient. This is Deuteronomy chapter 4. Deuteronomy chapter 4. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 6. Let's go to Joel. Let's go to Joel. Joel chapter 2. Joel chapter 2, verse 20. Actually, verse 2 verse 22. Fear not, you beasts of the field. Joel 2:22. Yahweh 2:22. For the pastures of the wilderness are green, and the trees bear fruit, and the fig trees and the vine trees full of yield. Be glad, O children of Solomon. So who do you think he's talking to? And rejoice in Yahuwah your Elohim. He said, give it to Ruah blast. For he has given the early rain for your vindication. What do you mean? What he talking about those people waiting for? He said, rejoice. In James chapter 5, he said, when you will get a rain, first rain and the last rain. He says he has given the early rain for your vindication. He has poured down for you abundant rain, the early rain and the latter rain. We're in the latter rain right now. As before. Right, going back to James chapter 5. James chapter 5. James chapter 5, verse 12. verse 8. 5 and 8 says, you also be patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the master is at hand. Do not grumble against one another, brothers. And go to verse 7. It says, be patient. Go to verse 7. Be patient, therefore, brothers, until the coming of the master. See how the farmer awaits his precious fruit of the earth. Be patient about it until it receives the early and the late rains. It's for your vindication. You see all the stuff they did to you? You also be patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the master is at hand. He coming. What we sounded the rule for, he said, for the day of Yahuwah is at hand. And guess what? He said, you ready? He said, all you people. He said, y'all ready, no? He said, the day of Yahuwah is at hand. And guess what he said? Do not grumble against one another, brothers, so that you may not be judged. Behold, the judge is standing at the door. What door? The door to tempt me. He's standing right at the door. I saw 10 virgins, 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. And as examples of the suffering patience, brothers and sisters, take the Nabi'im who spoke in the name of the Master. Behold, we consider those Barak who remain steadfast. Let not steadfast love and faithfulness forsake you. So you got to stay beloved. You have heard of the steadfast of Ehud, and you have seen the purpose of Yahuwah, how Yahuwah is compassionate and merciful. But of all brothers, do not swear either by Shab'ay or the earth, because he put everything in the Shab'ay. He said, who are you going to compare me to up there? In the Shab'ay. In the Shab'ay. Above the 7 heavens, above the 13 Shab'ay, above all gods. He said, who are you going to compare me to? Or by the earth. What human you going to compare me to? Or by any other oath. But let your yes be yes and your no be no, so that you may not fall under condemnation. Just say no. And just say yes. He said, just say no and just say yes. Right? So this is the book of yeah. So going back to first Enoch. First Enoch, chapter 97, verse 1. First Enoch, pseudepigrapha, 97, verse 1. It says, be confident, you righteous ones. It says, be confident, you righteous ones. We just read that. And it says, for the sinners are due for a shame. He said, they due for a shame. Just like the book of Judas. He said, you see all these things these priests do and all the things they did? He said, in the last days, they're going to be put to shame. He said, they're going to be put to shame. He said, the sinners due for their shame. They shall perish on the day of judgment of the oppression. You know what it says? Take for granted this indisputable matter. For the Most High shall record your destruction for you, O sinners, and the Malachim of Shab'ay shall rejoice over your destruction. What do you intend to do, you sinners? Whither will you flee on the day of judgment? When you hear the sound of the prayer of the righteous one. We just said, the righteous ones, they crying unto me. We just read it. He said that in James and Jacob, he said the righteous ones, they crying unto me. You reap their fields, you kept back their wages. He said, I done seen everything y'all done did, and now they crying to me. When was the last time the people of the earth cried to Yahuwah? When was the last time that happened? Right, going to Enoch, same book. I'm gonna come back there. Going all the way. This is First Enoch, chapter 8, verse 1. People saying, oh, what's getting ready to happen? This is First Enoch, chapter 8, verse 1. This is Aleph Hanuk, 8, verse 1. First Enoch 8 and 1, pseudepigrapha. And Azazel taught the people art of making swords and knives, and shields and breastplates. And he showed their chosen ones bracelets, and decorations, and shadowing of the eyes, and antimony, and ornamentation, and beautifying of the eyelids. all kinds of precious stones. These are all things they use to deceive people, kill people, and destroy people. Women use the eyelids to kill people, destroy people. And he said, in precious stones, in the coloring of the tinctures and alchemy. That's using all types of potions and turning base metals into gold and moving things around. It says, and there were many wicked ones. Many wicked ones. There's no peace to the wicked. And they committed adultery. That's what people do today. You're going outside their covenants. And you commit adultery and you're lying and you go jump in that relationship, you're lying, and then you call somebody else to commit adultery and you lie, then you do some other lies, and then you commit more lies, and then everybody joining your sin, and then they get plagued, and everybody getting destroyed because of you. And it says right here, in error, that's what happens. And all their conduct became corrupt. Everybody became corrupt. They became overly wicked. Aramas taught inclinations and cutting of roots, and Amaros revolving incantations, spells. And Barikal, astrology, and Kukar Ariel, the knowledge of the signs, and Tamiel taught the seeing of the stars, and Adriel taught the courses of the moon, as well as the deception of men. And what happened after that? And the people cried, and their voices reached unto Shab'ay. What do you think these people doing today? He said they cried unto Shab'ay. He said the people cried, which means they gave a Turah blast, and it reached to Shab'ay. They gave it to Ruah blood. What did he do that? Because they're being oppressed. Because of all the things that happened in the earth. They cried unto Yahuwah. It's like, we tired. We need somebody to come and save us. Because they righteous. Right? Going back to 97, first Enoch 97. First Enoch 97. It says, what do you intend to do, you sinners? Whither will you flee on the day of judgment, when you hear the sound of the prayer of the righteous ones? In respect to your lot, you shall become like them, the ones against whom you have become witnesses. Such is the fact. You have become bedfellows. You have become bedfellows with sinners. How many people become bedfellows with sinners? He said, you with them. Oh. He said, you got agreements with them. In those days, the prayers of the righteous ones shall reach unto Yahuwah. Uh-oh. He said, what days we in? He said, as in the days of Nuach, so shall it also be. They were eating and drinking, married. They weren't married. They were fornicating and committing adultery. To the day Yahuwah, until he entered the ark. And get what it says. And it says, hearing sounds of the prayer of the righteous ones, in respect to your lot, you shall become like them, the ones against whom you shall become witnesses. Such is the fact. You have become bedfellows with sinners. In those days, the prayer of the righteous one shall reach unto Yahuwah. But for all of you, your days shall arrive. He shall read aloud regarding every respect of your mischief. He gonna read it out. Can you imagine? He said, I'm going to read it aloud. All of your mischief. And get what it says. In the presence of the great Kudash one. Then your faces shall be covered with shame. He said, then your faces will be covered with shame. And he will cast out every deed which is built upon oppression. He said, it's built upon oppression. I'm casting it out. So if you're building a life and a heart and a body and a behavior and a lifestyle built on oppression, Yahuwah said, I'm going to cast you out of the kingdom. Matter of fact, he said, you're going to find yourself in the Malkut with Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, and you yourself cast out. You know, those people who were passed down that he showed his rules. He showed his Torah to Yaakov and his rules to Yasharal. He has not dealt so with any other people. You talking about those? Yeah. He said, you're going to find yourself kicked out. And get what it says. Woe unto you sinners who are in the midst of the sea and on the dry land. He said, woe unto you who are on the islands. And upon a dry land. So he's talking about everybody on the earth. And he says, you whose record are both evil and against you. Get what it says. Verse 8, woe unto you who gain silver and gold by unjust means. He said, how you got it? Because, violence increasing in the earth. Come on. You got all this unjust gain going in the world. Scams everywhere. Scam on the left. Scam on the right. Scam in the north, south, east, and west. Scam on digital world. Scam in reality. Scam in congregations. Scam in buildings. They scam you. They trick you. They form a corporation, incorporation, then they cause you. They say, hey, man, we forming this bit. Come on in. They don't tell you that they formed an incorporation. Then they sucker you to get the money. Then they sucker you and you give money to them. And they stack their money up in the bank account. Then they take that bank account money. Then they go to the bank. And then that one person goes to the bank and takes your money and then goes there and guess what? He files for a loan for about $1 million. He have about $80K in his bank account because he used that as collateral. And then guess what he does? He takes that $1 million and he goes and he increases his own wealth. He increases his own business. He increases everything. He says it's for you, but it's not. It's just for his own exaltation. And then he calls you broke. Then he oppresses you. Then he throws you out. You have no percentage in it. And then guess what happens after that? Then you get bitter. Then you get angry. Then you tell other people. Then you spread more gangrene. Then you spread more sin and more disease and more everything in everybody's mind. And guess what happens? Yahuwah like, I'm tired of that. He said, I'm tired of y'all. He said, I'm tired of y'all. You all kept back all these wages. You done got all this money. And guess what? Look where the people at. He said, look where the people at. He said, I'm tired. Woe unto you who gain gold and silver by unjust means. You will then say, we have grown rich and accumulated goods. Man, look at us. Boasting, just like Tazik, boasting on your YouTube channel, boasting all online, boasting all on your computers, on your screen, on your phone, filming it, showing everybody. Yeah, look at us, man. Look at us, man. We done came rich. We done got all these good deeds, and guess what? We still mixing those other idols with Yahuwah stuff. You were like, why you still calling these gods, these idols, and using that and saying that me? He said, I'm tired of it. And get what he says. We have acquired everything that we have desired. He said, Yahuwah said, I'll give you everything you desire in your heart, right? You desire to do thy will, thy Torah is in my heart. He said, I've acquired everything I desire. So now let us do whatever we like. He said, just do what we want. We just, you know what we'll do? We just start saying, this is the truth. And we start mixing other stuff with it and then saying, hey, we just do what we want to do. And just say what you want to say and believe you think that's the truth. And get what he says. For we have gathered silver, and we have filled our treasury with money like water. He said, we don't fill it up like Scrooge McDuck with the money bin, with Flint Heart Glongo. And he take his money, he put it in his money bin, he always come to rob. It says, and many are the laborers in our houses. He said, look how many people we got, look how many slaves we got. And he says, guess what 10 says? Your lies flow like water. Yahuwah said, you a liar. He said, your lies flow like water, for your wealth shall not endure. He said, you're not going to endure it. Your wealth shall not endure, but it shall take off from you quickly. He said, I'm going to take it from you quickly. And then he says, for you have acquired it all unjustly. Tick tock, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He said, you acquired it unjustly. And guess what he says? And you shall be given over to a great curse. He said, you're going to give over to a great curse. So now going to chapter 98, it says, now I swear unto you, to the wise and to the foolish. This is chapter 98. For you shall see many things upon the earth. For you men shall put on more jewelry than women. Don't you see that today? Who you see that among? Oh, you mean you see it like among these rappers and singers and all these people? He said you're gonna put on more jewelry than a woman. They got more jewelry on than you do. And get what he says, and more multicolored ornaments than a virgin. He said, man, you got on more colors. You got on more stuff than a virgin do. You know, when the woman came to David's house, they had on a coat of many colors. virgin's war. The virgin women had a coat, many colors. They had all these different colors on, and all this stuff. He said, you dress up, you got like a woman. You got more jewelry than a woman. That's for women. And you got on more colors than a woman. And get what he says. And more multicolored ornaments than a virgin. In sovereignty and in grandeur and in authority, silver and in gold and clothing and honor and edibles. They shall be poured out like water. For this reason, it says, they are devoted to knowledge and wisdom. So they shall perish, So they shall perish thereby together with their goods. Say what? He said, look, that's the only reason you got all that stuff, looking all, got more jewelry on, got all these colors on, looking all crazy. And guess what he said? He said, you know what? You're gonna gather wisdom, but guess what it's gonna be for? He said, it's gonna be for your destruction. And guess what Hanuk said then? Over 5,000 years ago. This is 5,000 years ago. I wasn't even alive. I wasn't even born. And get what he says. He says it'll be for your destruction. He says the goods, it says verse 3 says, for this reason they are devoid of knowledge and wisdom. He ain't got it. Because they're seeking after all these things. Yahusha said, seek ye first the Malkuth, and all these things will be added to you. They got it before. He said, if you ain't seek the Malkuth and all his righteousness and then get the wealth, then guess what happened? You did it wrong. And you were like, how'd you get it? You ain't doing it righteousness. So therefore, I know that junk, I know that stuff you got was from evil means and wickedness. That's the only way you're going to get it. And it says, for this reason they are devoted to knowledge and wisdom, devoid of knowledge and wisdom, so shall they perish thereby together with their goods, and together with all their great honor, glory, and honor. This in dishonor and slaughter, and in great misery, their spirits shall be cast away. And people think you want to play, and you've seen all these people getting, you were like, you ready? All y'all ready. Y'all ready to harvest. You were like, he getting ready to harvest all y'all with. And you say, you see, he's talking about every time you see somebody just be, yeah, he said, Yahuwah be taking them away. Then you know what they'll do? They'll put like 13 and 26 and 9 just to let you know. Yeah, that's the Malaki, can't take you out. Then you be like, why he taking these people out? Because you ignorant. He said, we've been ignorant. He said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Why he say he's going to destroy you? He said, I'm going to destroy you because you oppression. You got to do oppression and wickedness, and you got to do deceit. And you got rich, and you oppress people from their wages. And get what happened? Verse 4 says, I have sworn unto you, sinners, in the same manner that a mountain has never turned into a servant, nor shall a hill ever become a maidservant of a woman. Likewise, neither has sin been exported in the world. It is the people who have themselves invented it. He said, y'all did that. And those who commit it shall come under a great curse. Under a great curse. Why is a woman not given a child? On the account of the deeds of her own hands, would she die without children? He said, that's the only reason. He was like, why? Because of the deeds of her own hands. Not the deeds of another. You get what it says? I swear to you sinners, by the Kudash Ruach, by the Kudash Great One, that all your evil deeds are revealed in the Shamayim. And people saying, so we're literally reading about everybody's evil deeds right now. He said it's all revealed in the Shamayim. Where he said he's going to put, who you going to compare me to in the Shamayim? He said it's all revealed in the 7 heavens, in the Shab'ay Shamayim, in the 7 pillars. It's all revealed in the 7 celestial circles. It's already being revealed. It's the 7th month. And we see you. Yahuwah shine a light. He said they won't come to the light. That's their deeds, what they've done. He said you're going to have to repent. And it says their deeds in their own hands. It says, I swear to you sinners, by the Kudash Great One, that all the evil deeds are revealed in the Shamayims. None of your evil deeds or injustices are hidden. Think not in your spirit, your Ruach, nor say in your hearts, that neither that you neither know nor see all your sins being written down every day in the presence of Yahuwah. From now on, do know that all your injustices which you have committed unjustly are written down every day until the great day of your judgment. He said all of it. Right? He said all of it. Right? So, this is the last couple things. This is the last thing. This is the book of Malachi. Malachi chapter 4, verse 1. Malachi chapter 4, verse 1. Malachi 4:1 says, behold, the day is coming, burning like an oven, when all the arrogant and all evildoers will be stubble. He said, it's coming. The day of Yahuwah is coming. The day that is coming shall be set them ablaze, says Yahuwah of hosts, so that it will leave them neither root nor branch. He said, I'm going to go all the way down to the deepest part. For you think you're going to be able to hide on the ground? You were like, I'm going to go all the way down there to the root of this thing. And it says, but for you who fear my name, but to you who fear my name, the Son of righteousness, righteousness shall rise with healing in his wings. Kanaf. It's going to rise, just like the sun rise. Just like the dawning of the day when they came and blew the Teruah. Just like the dawning of the day when they went to the sepulchre and Yahushua wasn't there. Why you seek the living among the dead? He is not here, he is risen. He on the wings of the wind. He said, with healing in his wings. They that wait on Yahuwah, those who fear his name and walk in righteousness. He said, they shall mount with wings like eagles. They're going to ride on the wings of the wind. The dead and Mashiach are going to rise first. You shall go out leaping like calves from the stalls. He said, you're going to go out. And you shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under your foot on the day when I act, says Yahuwah of hosts. What we just read. Remember the Torah, the law of my servant Moshe, the statutes and rules that I commanded him in Horeb for all Yasharal, for he has not dealt so with any other people. We just read how he talks about don't keep back the wages. Don't lean your whole field. Leave some for the poor and the needy. You're oppressing the poor and the needy. Matter of fact, you getting your gain by unjust gain. Whether you call on you or not. You was like, I'm looking at all y'all. And it says, behold, I will send all y'all who did not be before the great and awesome day of Yahuwah. Before the great and awesome day of Yahuwah comes. Why? Yehukanan. Yehukanan was that person that he sent. But then you start looking at today. Yehukanan is gone. He was beheaded by a woman who was what? Committing adultery. Isn't that amazing? He was killed by a woman that was committing adultery. With her husband's brother. Whom her brother took and made him lose everything he had. Because he wouldn't pay tribute to Caesar. It says that he will turn the hearts of the fathers to the children. He's going to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, to the young people, to the children. He said, we just read the other day, he said, what? If you don't receive one of these children in my name, he that receives one of these children receives me. But he who calls one of these little ones to believe in me to sin, it would be better that a millstone be tied around your neck and be cast in the midst of the sea. So what exactly are the 12 tribes teaching? The teachings of their fathers? That their fathers passed down? Because the children are going to come to you. And guess what it says? And the hearts of the children to the fathers. Because the father's going to come back to the children. And the heart of the children is going to come back to the fathers. Because the children are supposed to learn from their fathers. And we just read it. In Enoch, Canute, when he gathered all his family together. And he explained to them the end and why they hold fast to righteousness and do not associate with hypocrites and walk in righteousness and love righteousness and the only thing they should love. And he gathered his family together. His uncle, his beloved, and his family. lest I come and strike the land with a decree of utter destruction. Too late. But today is the day of salvation. He said utter destruction, right? So this is the book of Matthew, Luke, chapter 21. Luke chapter 21. Luke chapter 21, verse 1. Luke or 21 and 1. Actually, Luke 21 and 25. Luke 21, 25. It says, and there will be signs. These are all luminary signs. Where were the signs at? He put, I gave you, on the fourth day of creation, I gave you the sun, the shemesh kuku, and the yard for signs, seasons, days, and years, right? That was on the fourth day of creation. So he's talking about the fourth day. There shall be signs in the shemash. Shall I, your mother, and your father bow down and give worship to you? Who are you talking about? Yusuf had a dream. Who he talking about? There are going to be signs in the sun, or you mean in the father, and in the moon, and in the mothers, and in the kukabim, and on the earth. There's going to be signs in the 12 tribes of Yasharah. Right? He said they're going to be signs in the 12 tribes of Yasharah. Let's read that real quick. It's Bereshit chapter 37, verse 1. Bereshit chapter 37, Genesis chapter 37, verse 9. And it says, then he dreamed another dream and told it to his brothers, because he ain't dealt so with any other people, and said, behold, I have dreamed another dream. Behold, the sun, the shemash, the yard, and the 11 stars bow down before me. When he told it to his father, his brothers, his father rebuked him. He took because that's what the father's supposed to do. He said, hold up, and said to him, what is this dream that you have dreamed? Because that's what the father's supposed to examine what's going on in his household. Shall I, your mother, and your brothers indeed bow down to the ground before you? He just said, we are shemesh kuku in the yard. We are the sun, moon, and the stars. That's what we are. We are the cosmic people. We are the shemesh kuku in the yard. We are the fourth day of creation, right? That's what he said. This Bereshit chapter 1, Genesis 1:14. Genesis 1:14. And Elohim said, let there be lights in the expanse, in the Rakia, and the Shamayim that separate the day from the night. Those who keep the instructions and those who don't. Because the commandments are left and the Torah is a light. And we are the children of the day. And let them be for signs, for oath, faith, and seasons. For days, for yomim, and shana, years. And let there be lights in the expanse of the Shamayim to give light upon the earth. And it was so. Right, going back to Luke, Orion. Luke chapter 21. Luke, verse 21, 25. And there shall be signs in the sun, in the moon, and the stars, in the sons of your code, in the male and female. There are going to be signs. There are going to be miracles. That's what a sign is. There are going to be miracles in the shemesh kuku, in the ark, and the earth. And that's also naturally. Like you're going to see it not only naturally, you're going to see the sun have signs, and the moon, and the stars going to be moving. And that's what the astrologers look at. But it's also going to be inside of you. The 12 tribes of Yasharah. Distress of nations in perplexity because of the roaring of the sea and the waves. The sea and the waves roaring. People fainting with fear and foreboding of what is coming on the world. For the powers of Shamayim will be shaken. He said everything's shaking. And they will see the son of Adam, the son of Yahuwah, coming in the clouds. He coming in the cloud. How you gonna do that? With eagle's wings? Narash. And power, with power, and great kabod, glory. He said, take some of my kabod and put it on them. And get what he said. Now, when these things begin to take place, what he said, straighten up. He said, straighten up and raise your heads. You need to straighten up. Because your redemption is drawing near. He said, bud. Bud. Suf. Zit. He said, put your wings on. Put your wings on. And get ready to fly. When the space shuttle get ready to take off, what do they think? What do they think? They have it sticking straight up, don't they? And guess what they get ready to do? Take off. He said, your redemption is near. It's drawing near. Why would he say that? He said, signs and waves roaring. This is Yeshayahu. Isaiah chapter 59. Isaiah chapter 59. Isaiah chapter 59, verse, Isaiah 59 and 11, actually 59 and 10, actually 59 and 12. For our transgressions are multiplied before you, and our sins testify against us, for our transgressions are with us, and we know our iniquities. He said, you know. We just read it in Enoch. He said, don't you say in your heart you don't know. He said, don't you even say that. You know how people say, we don't know. They know the word. They come, they send you a message, be like, they act like they don't know that. They know. And he says, transgressing and denying Yahuwah and turning back from following our Elohim. That's what he did. Speaking of oppression and revolt, you already know, we just read what you're going to do to them people. Conceiving and uttering from the heart lying words. He just read that in Enoch. He said, they liars. He said, you're a liar. He said, you wear more jewelry than a woman. You got more colors than a woman on. And he said, justice is turned back, and righteousness stands far away. For truth has stumbled in the public square. He said, men have reached the nations. They said, everybody know about it. And uprightness cannot enter. He said, truth and rose up. He said, and uprightness cannot enter. Truth is lacking. And he who departs from evil makes himself a prey. He said, you stop doing these things. Guess what? Satan coming after you. You even attempt to stop doing it. Say, I ain't doing it no more. Forget you. Guess what's going to happen to you? That's why people don't die. You wonder why people don't stop doing what they do. He's like, man, why? They know all this stuff, but for some reason they won't stop. Because they know if they stop, they know Satan going to come after them and they're going to take them out. And they don't want to die. They don't want things to happen to them. They don't want to lose their wealth. Because Yahuwah going to be like, you didn't get that by righteousness and walking in truth. You got that before. So therefore I have to get rid of you. Have to get rid of it. He says, truth and lie. He says, Yahuwah saw it, and it did please him that there was no justice. He saw that there was no man, no east, and wondered that there was no one to intercede. Then his own arm brought him salvation, and his righteousness upheld him, and put on righteousness as a breastplate. He did what? He put on righteousness as a breastplate. So he put on righteousness as a breastplate, which means it'll be our righteousness to keep his commandments. That's the very armor of Yahuwah. Put on the whole armor of Yahuwah, that you may be able to withstand against the apparitions and the wiles and the words and the teachings of Satan. And then people ain't even keeping righteousness. He said, how you walking in righteousness and you got on the armor of Yahuwah and you're not even walking in the righteousness of Yahuwah that was in the beginning when Hanuk was actually walking. It's not the same truth. I'm talking about doing it. And he said what? He put on righteousness as a breastplate and a helmet of salvation on his head. He put it on his head. We talk about a Canaan being raised on the house of David. And he's going to reveal, he's going to be his Yasha. He's going to raise up a horn of salvation, his Yasha. He put it on his head. He put on righteousness. It'll be our righteousness to keep his commandments, ruler to ruler. It'll be our righteousness. And guess what he said? He put on the garment of vengeance for clothing. Vengeance for his clothes. We have vengeance clothes. We got war clothes. I ain't gonna talk about it. He said they want to know what the clothes is so they can put them on. Then they gonna walk out here like, hey, look at us. But we the people of Yahuwah. No, we're not gonna talk about that. Because everybody want to put on the clothes and out, man. He's like, man, we have vengeance clothes. Yeah, we have war clothes. And it wasn't like the clothes y'all, people say. Right? And it says, he put on garments of vengeance of clothing and wrapped himself in zeal as a cloak. He put it all around him. According to their deeds, so he will repay. He said, I'm going to repay you. He said, you ready? The cries that reached to my ear, you ready? Y'all ready now? I don't got all this stuff out of my mind. He said, you know what? It grieved me that I even made you on the earth. And by my word, and I'm reading it, he said, I will cut them off in the name of Yahuwah. And he says, so will he repay wrath of his adversaries, repayment to his enemies. To the coastlands he will render payment. To all he said the sea, the islands of the sea. We just read it in Hadith. He just said he's gonna repay the land, the earth, and the sea, and the islands. And guess what happened? So shall they fear the name of Yahuwah from the west, and his kabod from the rising of the what? From the rising of the sun to the day dawn. So the son of righteousness will rise with healing on his wings to the rising of the sun. The day of Yahuwah gonna be stubble. It's gonna be burning oven. Who gonna be cast in the oven? It says, for he will come like the rushing stream, like a flood waters, which the wind of Yahuwah drives. We just read it. Wind and waves roaring, men's hearts failing for fear that's coming. They losing it. Why? And it says what? And a redeemer will come from Saum. From what? Oh, he gonna come. Where he gonna come from? From the tribes. He gonna come from the tribe, from the parched place. I thought he would come. Well, he coming from Yaakov. Of course he is, because he ain't dealt with no other people. And get what it says: to those in Yaakov. To where? He's coming to Saum. Will come to Saum, to those in Yaakov who turn from transgressions. Who what? Who turn from their transgressions, declares Yahuwah. He coming to those in Yaakov. Why? Why? From those who are, because he's going to unseal them in their forehead. He's going to seal them in their forehead. You know what it says? As for me, this is the covenant. This is my covenant with them, says Yahuwah. My ruach that is upon you, and my words that I put in your mouth, shall not depart out of your mouth, or out of the mouth of your offspring, or out of the mouth of your children's offspring. What did Hanuk do to his family? He made sure he read it right to him. And he said, make sure you don't forget this. He gathered his family together. It says, your children's children, says Yahuwah, from this time forevermore. Chapter 60. Here we go. Arise. Arise. Shine. For Yahuwah, for the light has come. Huh? He says shine. What do you mean? This is the light right here. For the light has come, and the kabod of Yahuwah has risen upon you. So the son of righteousness arise with healing in his wings. The son of righteousness has now risen upon you, who hear and who understand. For behold, darkness shall cover the earth, and thick darkness the peoples. But Yahuwah will arise upon you, and his kabod will be seen upon you. And the nation shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your rising. So when are you going to dawn? And when are you going to rise? And get what it says. Lift up your eyes all around and see, they all gather together. They come to you. When you shine a light in the middle of the night, what happens? The bugs come. Everything comes and gathers around the light. He said, lift up your eyes all around and see, they all gather, they come to you. Your sons shall come from afar, and your daughters shall be carried on the hip. And then you shall see and be radiant. Your hearts shall thrill and exult, because of the abundance of the sea shall be turned to you. What was the fifth day? He said, let the sea creatures and all the animals multiply. A multitude of camels shall cover you. The young camels of Midian and Ephah, and all those Shab'ay shall come, and they shall bring gold, frankincense, and shall bring good news and praises of Yahuwah. All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered to you. The rams of Nebaioth shall minister to you. They shall come with acceptance on my altar, and I will beautify my beautiful house. Whose are these that fly like a cloud? Who are these that fly like a cloud? He said, let the birds fly. He said, who are these that fly like a cloud? And like doves to their windows. Let the birds fly. For the coastlands shall hope for me. Their ships of Tarshish shall first to bring their children from afar, their silver and their gold with them. For the name of Yahuwah, your Elohim, and Hudashman Yasharal, because he made you beautiful. He made you beautiful. You gonna call yourself ugly. He said, I'm black. Don't get mad because the sun done shined on me. He said, I'm black like the tents of Kedar. Just like the hairs of Kedar that make the tent. And get what he says. Foreigners shall build your walls, Foreigners shall build your walls. And they say, oh, you ain't no man because you ain't. He say, foreigners gonna do that. He say, other people are gonna do that for you. And their kings shall minister to you. For in wrath I struck you. He said, what? In wrath I struck you. But in my favor I have had mercy on you. Your gates shall be open continually, day and night. They shall not be shut, that people may bring to you the wealth of the nations. With their kings led in procession. For the nations and kingdom that will not serve you shall perish. He said, if they don't serve, he said, if they don't serve, because I beautified you, I allowed the sun to dawn and the healing of wings to dawn inside of you. And now your light has shined. And guess what? He said, they that don't come and serve you, he said, they shall perish because you reap their fields. They kept back your wages. You did all these things for other people. And you didn't ever get a chance to tend to your own flock. And he says, if they don't come to serve you, after I allow the day dawn and the day star rise, he says, they shall perish. Those nations shall be utterly laid waste. They shall be stubble. The kabod of Lebanon shall come to you, the cypress, the plane, the pine, the beautifying of the place of my sanctuary. And I will make my feet glorious. And I will make the place of my feet glorious. The sons of those who afflicted you shall come bending low to you. And all who despised you shall bow down to your feet. Then shall call you the city of Yahuwah. Sa'um, the Kudashman of Yasharal. Whereas you have forsaken you have been forsaken and hated, with no one passing through, I will make you majestic forever, a joy from age to age. You have sucked the milk of nations, you shall nurse on the breast of kings, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah, am your Savior, your Redeemer, the mighty one of your code. All right, so this is Yahushua Mashiach. This is the book of this is the book of Matthew. Matthew Yahoo chapter 12. Matthew Yahoo chapter 11. Matthew Yahoo chapter 11 verse 25. Matthew Yahoo chapter 11 verse 25. And at that time Yahushua declared, I thank you, Father, Master of Shamayim and earth. He said, even Yahushua, like, you my Father, that you have hidden these things from the wise and understanding, and revealed these things them to little children. The little children. Because he said, if you don't humble yourself like a child, there's no way you're going to enter into the kingdom. He said, you revealed them little children. He says, yes, Father, for such was your gracious will. All things have been handed over to me by my Father, and no one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. The Son chooses to reveal him. Chooses. As Yahuwah is chosen, put on beloved and compassionate hearts. He said, if you choose to reveal him, come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. He's like, I'm going to, you know, all the things that these rich and they oppressed you. And they did all these things to you for all these decades and thousands of years. He's saying, all you are heavy laden and burdened. He said, come to me and I will give you rest. He said, I'll give you Shab'ay. He said, come to Shab'ay. He said, observe the Shab'ay. Put on righteousness as a breastplate and a helmet of salvation on your head. And get what he says, take my yoke upon you and learn from me. Why? For I am gentle and lowly. I'm very gentle. He said, I'm gentle and lowly. And you will find rest for your souls. You'll be able to Shabbat for your souls. You have a rest for your souls. You will escape the great day of judgment. You have rest for your souls. Because either you have rest for your souls now, or you'll be thrown in the fire. You'll never get any rest. He said, rest for your souls, for my yoke is easy. He said, my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. He said, my burden is light. My burden is light. He said, my burden is light. This is Yeshayahu 60:1 again. Arise, shine, for your light has come. Isaiah 60:1. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the kabod of Yahuwah has risen upon you. Right, so this is last two verses. It says, actually, wait. This is the book of this is so it's Ephesians chapter 5. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 9. It says, for the fruit of light, Ephesians chapter 5, verse 9. For the fruit of light is found in all that is good, right, and true. The fruit of light is found in all that is good, right, and true. Verse 10 says, and try to discern what is pleasing to Yahuwah. Take no part in unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them with light. For they hate the light. And get what it says. For it is shameful, even to speak of the things that are done in secret. Yahuwah said he's going to read that in front of all the people. In the book of Enoch, he said, I'm going to read all your shame in front of everybody. He said, then you're going to be ashamed. Then you're going to be ashamed. Once I read it in front of everybody, he said, then you're going to be ashamed. And get what he says. He says, for it is shameful even to speak of the things that are done, that they do in secret. You see what they do? But when anything is exposed by light, it becomes visible. For anything that becomes visible is light. Therefore it says, awake, O sleeper. Arise, shine, for the light has risen upon you. And arise from the dead, and Yahushua Mashiach will shine on you. What's going to happen when the sun shines on you, Yasharal? Don't get mad at me. This Song of Solomon. This is Song of Solomon. This is Song of Solomon. This is Song of Solomon. Chapter 1. Shir HaShirim, sing the songs. Song of Solomon. Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse. That's 1 and 5. It says 1 and 5. It says, I am very dark, I am black, but lovely. He said, awake thou that sleeper and arise from the dead, and the Mashiach Yahushua will shine on you. He said, arise, shine. He said, I am dark, but I am very black, but lovely, O daughters of Jerusalem, like the tents of Kedar, like the curtains of Shalom. Do not gaze at me because I am dark. He said, look at me. The sun has shined on me. You know why? Because he said, I've arisen. He said, I have arisen. He said, I know who I am. Is it not written in your Torah? I said, you are Elohim, you are gods. And if you called you gods into whom the word of Yahuwah came, Yasharal in your code, then this Torah cannot be changed. It's not, you can't. It said, do not gaze at me. Do not gaze at me because I am dark, because the sun has looked upon me. He said, the sun looked upon me. Has the sun shined on you? He said the sun shined on him. All right, so this is 2nd Ezra chapter 7. Actually, 1st Ezra chapter 7. 1st Ezra chapter 7. 1st Ezra chapter 7. I think it's 2nd Ezra. 2nd Ezra, I think it is 7. 2nd Ezra 7. 2nd Ezra chapter 7, verse 48. 2nd Ezra chapter 7, verse 48. 2nd Ezra chapter 7, verse 48. O thou Adam, what hast thou done? For though it was thou that sinned, thou art not fallen alone, but we all come to thee. We all go into the ground, the dust. It says, for what profit is it unto us if there be promised us an immortal time, whereas we have done the works that bring death. He said we did all these sins. For the wages of sin is death. And that there is promised us an everlasting hope, whereas ourselves, being most wicked, are made vain. He's like, look at all the stuff we did. All the kamas we did. Oh, we doing more, we doing all, looking like women, wearing more jewelry like women, doing all this stuff, got more colors on, doing all these things, doing all this wicked oppressing the poor, withholding the actual wages, doing everything against the statutes. He said, what is in vain? He says, they gathered all, we all in vain. Remember how they say, gathered it all in vain? Yahuwah said that's for your destruction. In Enoch, verse 51 says, and that there are laid up for us dwellings of health. It says, and that there are laid up for us dwellings of health and safety, whereas we have lived wickedly. He said, there ain't nothing laid up for us. And that the kabod of the Most High Yahuwah is kept to defend them which have been kept to defend them which have led a weary life, whereas we walked in the most wicked ways of all. He said, we did all this stuff. Get what he says. And that there should be showed a paradise whose fruit endureth forever, the fruit of life, wherein is security, medicine, since we shall not enter it. He said, we ain't not even getting in there. And he says, for we have walked in the unpleasant places, and that the faces of them that have used abstinence shall shine, what? Shall shine above the stars, whereas our faces shall be blacker than darkness. He said, what get mad at me because the sun has shined on me? I'm black, but I ain't ugly. I'm beautiful. Because he said, Yahuwah beautified us. And matter of fact, he said, arise, shine, for the sun has risen upon you. For the son of righteousness arise with healing in his wings. It's medicine. Just like the natural sun gives you medicine. He said, the son of righteousness has shone on me. Get what? It's medicine. For all the stuff, all the wickedness that I've done in my life. And he says, don't get mad at me. What you upset? Because Yahuwah done healed me. He said, the sun done shine on me. He said, my mother's sons were angry at me. He said, what you angry at me for? He said, you better go get that. You better go talk to the one who gives the healing. And then guess what happened? Then the sun will rise on you and shine on you too. And get what it says. And it says, and there, it says, verse 52. It says, sorry, and then he said they're gonna be black. Yeah, here we go, verse 55. And that their faces of them that which use abstinence shall shine above the stars, whereas our faces shall be blacker than darkness. Right? He said, whereas our faces be blacker than darkness. But he said, we shall shine above the stars, but our faces will be blacker than darkness. But you don't understand. They don't understand. When the sun shines on you, your face is blacker than darkness. He said, you black. And the sun has risen on you. And guess what happens? It says, for while we lived and committed iniquity, we considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death. Why? Because of all the stuff you did, and you didn't even think about right wisdom. You were devoid of wisdom and knowledge. Why? Because he said, they who use abstinence, he says, verse 55, one more time, and that the faces of them which have used abstinence shall shine above the stars. Why do you think Yahushua was above Yashua and Yehuda? And guess what happens? Whereas our faces shall be blacker than darkness. Of course. Because once you realize, Yahushua said in Yuchanan 12, he said, for this purpose I came into the world, that when the son of Yahuwah be lifted up, Adam be lifted up, I'm going to draw all people to myself. And guess what? We're at the bottom, while the sun was risen above us. And guess what? By this wisdom we know, the sun has shined upon us. and our faces are blacker than darkness. And guess what happens after that? He said, arise, let's sleep. For the Mashiach going to shine on you. And then you're going to be saying what Shahashrim said. He said, don't get mad at me because the sun don't shine on me, because I understand it. He said, my servants will do it prudently. He shall be wise. He shall be exalted and very high, just like the sun. And those who perceive it at the bottom, because you at his feet, because the sun of righteousness is going to rise with healing in his wings. And the book of Revelation says the moon is going to be at his feet. And we had 12 rays of light. And guess what those people at the bottom are going to be? They're going to see the sun is shining on us. Right, so this is the book of, I'm just going to read the rest of this. It says, then answered me, verse 57, and said, this is the condition of the battle, which man that is born upon the earth shall fight. That if he be overcome, he shall suffer as thou hast said. But if he get the victory, he shall receive the thing that I said. For this is the life, whereas Mashah spake unto the people while he lived, saying, choose their life, that thou mayest live. If we just said, I've come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. How does a fruit tree get more abundantly? How does a fruit tree yield more fruit? Because the sun arises with healing in his wings, and the fruit, and the tree bears fruit. The sun has shined on me. He said, choose life that you may live. Nevertheless, they believe not him, nor yet the prophets after him, nor me which have spoken unto them, that there should not be such heaviness in their destruction, as shall be joy over them that are persuaded to salvation. That are persuaded. He said, he that believes on me, he said, search the scriptures. In them you think you have eternal life is testifying about me. You persuaded to salvation yet? Because your tree ain't gonna bear fruit until the sun shines on you. Then you're gonna be like, I'm beautiful. You mean your blackness is beautiful? I'm just like the Tensi Kadar. He said, you know why? Because the sun didn't shine on you, my bride. It says, verse 62, I answered them and said, I know, Master, that the Most High is called merciful, in that he hath mercy upon them which are not yet come into the world. You think about all the things that one has learned and all the lies you were born into. This is even mercy for you to even get to this point. He's like, look at all this stuff. And he says what? He says it's coming to the world. And he says, and upon those also that turn to his Torah, his law, and that he is patient and long suffering, those that have sinned as his creatures, and that he is bountiful, for he is ready to give where it needed, and that he is of great mercy, for he multiplied more and more mercies to them that are present, and that are past, and also to them which are to come. For it shall be as the children's children and children's children, it shall not depart of their mouth, the words. For if he shall not multiply his mercies, the world will not continue with them that inherit therein. And he pardoneth, and he pardoneth, for if he did not so of his goodness, that they which have committed iniquities might be eased of them. The 10,000th part of men should not remain living, and being judged, if he should not forgive them, if he should not forgive them that are cured with his word, and put out the multitude of contentions, there should be very few left peradventure in an innumerable multitude. He said there wouldn't be nobody left. And all these people in the multitude. What did Aydah mean? Multitude. In the family. He said there won't be nobody left. If he didn't have mercies on us, and he was a long suffering, he said there wouldn't be none of us alive today. Why? To understand that the sun has risen. And he said, wake thou that sleepeth and arise from the dead. Because when you get up in the morning, what time you gonna get up? You gonna stay asleep? When you get up at the dawn, it's a different type mindset. When you go blow the Turah at the dawn, it's a different type mindset. You get up in the dawn, you get to see the dawning of the sun, and you understand. Wake thou that sleepeth and arise from the dead. And the sun, Yahushua Mashiach, will shine on you. He will shine on you. Right, so this is the last thing. This is the last thing. This is the last thing. Last thing. This is the book of this is 2 Peter. This is 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 12. 2 Peter 2 and 12. It says, but these, like irrational animals, creatures of instinct, both to be caught and destroyed, blaspheming about matters of which they are ignorant, will also be destroyed in their destruction, suffering wrong as the wages of their wrongdoing. They count it pleasure to revel in the daytime. These are blots and blemishes, revelings in their deceptions, while they feast with you. They have eyes full of adultery, insatiable for sin. They entice unsteady souls. They have hearts trained in greed. Accursed children, forsaking the right way, they have gone astray. They have followed the ways of Balaam, the son of Beor, who loved gain from wrongdoing. Unjust gain. What do you think they're going to do, these people? And it says, but was rebuked to God for his own transgressions. He said, correction and reproof is a way of life. A speechless donkey with human voice and restrained in Nabi's madness. These are waterless springs in the driving storm. For them, the gloom and utter darkness has been reserved. For speaking loud boasts of folly, they entice by sensual passions of the flesh those who barely escaping from those who live in error. They promise them freedom, but they themselves are slaves of corruption. For whatsoever overcomes a person, to that he is enslaved. For if, after they have escaped the defilements of the world through the knowledge of Yahushua Mashiach the Master, they are again entangled therein and overcome, the last estate has become worse to them than the first. He said, worse than them of the first. So, I think last thing popped in my mind, and then we finished. Last thing that popped in my mind, and then we finished. So this is the book of. Actually, let's go to. This is, I think this is, yeah. So this is the book of, this is 2 Peter, let's go 2 Peter 3, and 2 Peter 3 and 8. Last thing, 2 Peter 3 and 8, and we finish. 2 Peter 3 and 8, 2 Peter 3 and 8, 2 Peter 3 and 8, 2 Peter 3 and 8. 2 Peter 3 and 8. It says, but do not overlook this one fact, beloved. David, He said, Dawood, it says that they put on Yahuwah's chosen ones, beloved and compassionate hearts. That with Yahuwah, that with the Master, one day is as 1,000 years. And 1,000 years is one day. He said just one day, 12 hours in a day, 12 hours 1,000. He said 83.3. He said 83. He said 0.83 is 11. Every hour is 11th hour. Yahuwah is not slow to fulfill his promise, as some count slowness, but is patient toward you, not wishing that any should perish, but all should reach repentance. Because if he did it right now, nobody would survive. Everybody wouldn't. There wouldn't be many. He said, but none should perish, but all should reach repentance. But the day of Yahuwah will come like a thief, and then the heavens will pass away with a roar, with a teruah. And the heavenly bodies will be burnt up and dissolved, and the earth and the works therein the works that are done in it will be exposed. How are you going to expose it? By light. Light. Since all these things are thus to be dissolved, what sort of people ought you to be in lives of Kudash and righteousness, waiting for the hastening of the coming of the day of Yahuwah, because of which the heavens will be set on fire and dissolved, and the heavenly bodies will melt as they burn. But according to his promise, we are waiting for the new Shab'ay and the new Aydah, in which righteousness dwells. It'll be our righteousness if we keep his commandments. Light, he said, the fruit of light dwells in everything that is good, righteous, and pure. Therefore, beloved, since you are waiting for these, be diligent to be found by him without spot or blemish and at peace. And at shalom. All right, so we look at all that. Look at Yahushua Mashiach. Look at righteousness. The Sadaqah, the righteousness dwelling inside of human beings, dwelling inside of Yasharal and Yehuda. And all those who will join themselves to him will walk in righteousness. For he has not dealt so with any other people. But they shall shine even as the sun. Even as the sun shines in the earth, so shall they shine in the earth. And we look at ourselves as that fruitful tree, that fruitful vine, and we should walk as the beloved. And we should be distinguished among 10,000. And we should walk in righteousness and purity of mind and purity of thought continually. We look at the same righteousness that was given to Hanuk, the same righteousness that was given to Adam and Kuul, the same righteousness that was given to Hanuk and Methuselah, the same righteousness that was given to Noah, the same righteousness that was given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the sons of Yasharal, and he has not dealt so with any other people. For even as a family is gathered into one place, and all the instructions is administered to the children as a warning, knowing that it won't depart of their seed and their children's mouth in another generation. For all generations will know the faithfulness and love of Yahuwah Elohim. But we look at ourselves and we look at our inward man, we look at our thoughts and our mind and our eyes and our ears and our thoughts and what we've imagined in our thoughts. Even as Satan all tries to place things in our heart, and we cast it down when it tries to exalt itself against the knowledge of Yahushua Mashiach. For the only one is exalted above, and we are at the bottom. But he said, don't get mad because the sun will shine upon me. He said, arise, you thou sleeper, and arise from the dead, and wake up and go outside. For the sun, he said, Yahushua Mashiach will shine on you. Even as he was exalted above, and the light was lying above, and our faces were blacker than black. Why? Blackness. Why? Because he shined on us. For the son of Adam be lifted up, he said, I'm going to draw all people to myself. For even as the natural sun provides nutrients for the body, so Yahuwah's son has been Yahushua Mashiach, the life of the house, will shine on you. When we look at ourselves, we look at our inward man, and we look at who we are. He says, it's not written in your Torah, I said you are gods. You are Elohim. And if he called you an Elohim, in whom the word of Yahuwah came, you can't change it. If the word of Yahuwah came to you, and it shined upon you, and guess what you have? He said, don't get mad at me because the sun will shine upon me. Don't get upset at me. For I'm dark like the tents of Kedar. I'm black, and I'm beautiful. For Yahuwah has beautified me. For he beautified the meek with salvation. He said he'll beautify the humble with salvation. For the meek shall inherit the earth. The meek shall inherit the earth.